photograph in which we were in love, caught in your eyes, waiting for the sunrise.
Hey everybody, Cody here. I'm going to do a video today on the Thursday boots. So what I'd like to cover today regarding the Thursday boots is kind of my experience with it. I've had this boot for almost a year now, and overall my experience has been pretty good. I just want to kind of overview a few things as far as style, comfort, quality, and I actually had an opportunity to experience the customer service over at Thursday Boots, so I'll kind of walk you through how that experience went. And I actually just picked up out of the mailbox my second pair of Thursday boots. These are actually a pair of dress shoes that they make called the Aviators, so I'll do a quick unboxing of those and kind of give you my first impressions. But I wanted to kind of discuss this boot. There's lots of good videos on YouTube as far as people that know a lot more about this stuff than I do. And their content is really, really good. This is actually kind of my first attempt at doing something like this, so bear with me, and I appreciate any feedback you guys want to give. I'm an open book that way, and like I said, it's kind of a first attempt for me. So I'll just kind of kick it off with explaining when I bought the boot. So I bought this boot in September, August of 2019, and bought it online. I think I came across a couple of YouTube videos, and they seem to be pretty favorable. And the vibe with Thursday boots is basically you get a lot for your money. So you get a 360 Goodyear welted shoe, which I didn't even know what that meant when I bought it, but it seemed like that was something that you definitely wanted in a nice pair of shoes. And essentially what that is it's a stitching that goes all the way across the boot, 360 degree stitching, and it essentially holds the leather against the sole of the boot. That is complex and is the best understanding that I can explain. Essentially what it does is it'll waterproof the boot. Not completely waterproof it, because it is, these are leather, and they will soak through eventually. However, I've worn these in rainstorms and worn them in snow. They do a very, very good job of keeping your feet dry. So anyway, the reason why I bought this boot was I was actually looking for something a little bit dressier that I could wear to work. I actually work in an office environment where I wear anything from a three-piece suit to some chinos with a dress shirt kind of idea. But generally speaking, I'm more on the dressier side of things. And I live in Canada, so it gets pretty messy. And just because the weather's not so great doesn't mean that I can just wear whatever I want. So I was looking for a boot that was going to give me decent traction, which these did a pretty good job. I'll go into this here in a second, but I wanted something with decent traction, something that had a nice look to it that I could, still wear as a dress shoe if I needed to, and something that was going to hold up. I didn't want something I was going to have to buy every year. Like, my philosophy up until buying these was I would go to a local men's clothing store like Moore's or something like that, Spring, and I'd spend anywhere between $50 and $150 on a pair of throwaway shoes, essentially. I mean, once you get up to the $150 category, I'm not looking to throw those away, of course. But, excuse me, I found myself getting them salt stained. They would start tearing away at the seams. If you've bought a pair of these shoes, you probably know what I mean. I mean, just wearing them is enough to basically wear them down. And because they use a glue or rubber that's melted on in this area here, once those start to pull apart, they're basically garbage. The beauty of these is a cobbler can actually pull these apart and reinstall a heel block. They can put an entire new sole on. They can basically repair the shoe as long as the upper of the shoe stays intact. As far as I understand, you can basically wear these forever. I mean, you just need to be able to repair them. And being able to repair a product that you invested your money into is important. I mean, especially something like this with a beautiful leather. you can really see kind of character lines, and it really forms and shapes itself to your foot. So that was what I was looking for, and this boot worked. I actually wear this with a suit sometimes, so it's a little out of place. It does have kind of a rounded off toe where a dress shoe might be more tapered, but it has that toe cap still, and the color works. If I polish these up nice, they can totally totally work as a dress shoe. So I wore these for almost a year, and I'm talking about every day. Now, I'm probably doing about 6,000 or 7,000 steps in the run of a day, so I'm not running any marathons. But I'd say 50% of the wear is going to be on concrete or cement, and the other half is going to be inside of an office building on a tile floor or something like that. So they've held up really well. They're not super warm, they're not very insulated. They're relatively thin. The leather that they use here is what's called a full grain leather. So I'm not going to try and educate you on what sort of leather this is and why it's great. But from what I understand, a full grain leather is the highest quality or durability to quality ratio that you're going to want in a boot like this. So they did a really good job. And the color, I don't know if you can see, but it's a mix between a brown and a burgundy. You can see here there's some stress lines, and I'm really in love with the look of this boot. I'm very, very happy with the look. And it does shape to your foot. So the comfort end of things was, I would say, exceptional. The comfort is very, very good. I would say after maybe a week to 2 weeks, this area here, which initially was kind of digging into my feet when I would bend down or when I would walk, but I made sure that I kept it really lubricated with creams and oils that I bought from Thursday Boots when I bought the boot. And I broke them in about 2 weeks. So I'm pretty happy with that. As far as the inside of the boot, you've got a glove leather interior, which is very soft, very comfortable. And the sole is a nice leather as well. So kind of moving to comfort real quick. The comfort is really, really good. I mean, again, you probably have already seen videos online where they talk about the different layers of, they have like a cork sole, I think is how it's described. So they've got some cork in there that helps cushion your foot a little bit, and it helps mold to your foot over time. And then they have another layer of like a very thin foam that helps keep your foot a little bit more comfortable as well. So very comfortable. It's almost like wearing a pair of sneakers, if that makes sense. Speaking of sneakers, when it came to sizing this boot, most dress shoes I find I have to go to about a size 11. My feet are a little wider, so with the dress shoe, they're a little bit more tapered. And I find size 11 is usually what I want to go to for the most comfortable fit on a dress shoe. With Nikes, for example, with Jordans, Nike Air Jordan 1s, for example, I find that I'm wearing about a 10.5. I find very comfortable. And they say to drop down half a size from what you would wear normally. So these are actually a 10. And again, I wear a dress shoe about 11. So these fit perfect. That sizing guide worked excellent. So just to reiterate, I wear a size 10.5 in a Nike. That fits nice and snug. And then a size 10 in these was perfect. I think my toe comes somewhere around here, giving me lots of room. It's got a nice wide foot box here, or toe box, excuse me. And I find it very comfortable. Now, with that being said, and I do wear these every day, especially in a pretty moist environment, I found that I had to stuff paper towel or toilet paper or something just to help soak up some of the moisture in here. I'm sure there's more specialized things you can buy to accomplish the same thing, but that's what I used. And that really helped keeping the smell down, but also, keeping it nice and dry and comfortable. The leather, I don't know what you call it here, but the liner inside of the boot where your foot would sit, if it gets wet, it'll actually kind of slide back, and then you get kind of a fold, which this did do. I basically just kind of peeled it back and then flattened it out so that my foot would sit nice and flat on the footbed there. So overall, really happy with the comfort, quality, and this will kind of lead me into the customer service aspect of Thursday Boots. So the quality, I would say, is very good. I mean, for what you're paying, and it's $190 American that you'd pay. Now, being in Canada, our dollar is not so great in comparison to the US dollar. So I think for every $1 American dollar, or for every $100 American dollars, you're looking at $1.39 Canadian, or about $139 Canadian, at least today. So the exchange rate's not so good, so you're looking at probably closer to a $300 price point if you're talking Canadian dollars. However, I think it's worth it. I mean, these boots are going to last me a while. I would say if I get 3-4 years out of these, I wouldn't be surprised. And I was normally buying 1 to 2 pairs of shoes per year anyway. And when you account for the style, the look, this is my first set of really nice boots. I'm really happy. I think it was money well spent. So when it comes to the quality, I'm pretty happy overall. I mean, there's actually an instance where the front piece right here on my other boot, let's see if I can zoom up here. You can see here how the Goodyear welt has kind of worn off, or the threading has worn off, and that's normal. On my other boot, a piece of the rubber right on the front here, and it kind of followed that line across the top of where that stitching was, it actually came off. So I was cleaning my boots one day, and I noticed that the front piece of my other boot was actually kind of chipped off. So I think I had them maybe 6 or 7 months up to that point, maybe less even. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think it actually had to do with how I was taking my boots off. I would actually use my other boot to kind of kick off this boot right here on this lip. And that might have been kind of putting extra pressure on that area, and it ended up coming off. The rubber that they use here is I would say it's a soft-ish rubber. Once it's worn down, you get lots of grip and lots of traction. But I think it might have been a little bit too brittle up here in this area, and that's why it came off. Now, what I did when that happened was I actually took some photos. I emailed Thursday Boots. They got back to me. I think I emailed them on a Saturday, and they got back to me that Sunday. So, less than 24 hours, I had an email from them. And it wasn't just one of those auto response, hey, we got your email, we'll get back to you soon. It was actually a person, I think her name was Keisha, and she basically said, she empathized with me. She understood how I was probably feeling. And she said, hey, listen, send me some photos, send me some information. They asked for, the warranty card, or the quality control card, so they can kind of isolate what batch this boot came from. And once they saw that, I did purchase the boot, and the damage was, legitimate, and wasn't due to excess wear and tear, they offered to give me a new pair of boots, so send these back and they'd send me a new pair, or they offered to pay for a cobbler to resole it. So I actually came up with a third option. I said, hey, there's lots of life left in these boots. Yes, they're damaged. I think I can get away with wearing them still without, too much trouble. What do you think about giving me a discount off of another pair of your shoes or from your boots? So they offered to do that. They thought that was a good idea. I had my eye on these shoes that I'm about to show you, the Aviators, and I was happy with that. So I get to keep my boots that I spent some time breaking in, and I've already spent some time keeping them looking good and polishing them and keeping them all oiled up. So, let's see how much longer these last me at the end of the day. Well, if I get another year out of them, well, hey, I got 50% off another pair. I'm happy with how that turned out. They were extremely quick to respond. I think they were very fair. And when one of their two options wasn't right for me, they even accepted my proposal. So I would say the customer service is amazing. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience dealing with different boot companies, but it's all I could have hoped for. And if you do buy a pair of their boots and they're not exactly what you're looking for, and they, you do have a quality control issue, I'm confident that they're going to do the right thing and look after you. Every situation is different, but I'm pretty happy with how they looked after me. One other thing, the laces that they came with, they're wax laces, and I really like them. I think they match the boot well. However, you can kind of see here, they're starting to fray. So on my other boot's kind of the Frankenstein boot because it has the chip missing here and one of the laces is actually broken. I was tightening them up one day and it actually broke at that area where it's, and these are probably going to do the same thing at some point. So I was on, getting ready to go to work that morning, so I wasn't too pleased when that happened, but I wear these boots every day. I've run in these boots. Now I don't go exercising, but I've had to run across a parking lot in these boots to go catch somebody that I was trying to tell some information to. But anyway, I ran in them and they were comfortable. It's like I was wearing a pair of Jordans or something like that. They're very comfortable. I've walked probably no more than 5 kilometers, on a walk. I'd normally wear a different pair of shoes if I was going on a walk longer than that. But for 5K, these held up, and I've probably worn them a little bit more than I should have. If I want to get 3-4 years out of them, I probably shouldn't be wearing them every day. But so far, so good. So overall, I'm really happy. I just ordered some new laces on Amazon, so I'll replace those. I'll continue to protect them in any way I can. Speaking of which, I bought one of these little brushes off their website, and then I also have this. Well, I bought 2 different leather creams. I bought this cream here, which is the one that I've been using the most. It's got different waxes and things in it. It does a really good job at weatherproofing the boot as well. So I think I applied this maybe 2 weeks ago, and I've worn these about 14 times since I oiled them up. So they're still looking really good. I do it maybe every 2 weeks, sometimes more, depending on the weather, depending on what I've done in the boots, and if they are looking dried out or scuffed up. And these feel really good. This does a really good job at keeping them looking pretty good. So I just apply that, and then I just polish them up a little bit and let that wax kind of melt into the pores of the leather. And these boots look awesome. They feel awesome. They're worth the money. Highly recommend. So moving on from the Captain boot, which definitely recommend, I'm going to quickly unbox these Aviators, and then we can do a update as to how they go. So I've got my little Spyderco knife here, paramilitary 2. Also a knife guy, and just have the description here so you can see there's the Thursday boot bill. A bit of a different box than what the boots came in. The boots came in more of a traditional, I don't know what you call it, almost like I guess the Nike boxes where they kind of flip out like this and then they open up like that, like a chest. These Thursdays have just a top. Now I don't think the boots came with this, but this looks like a little carrying case or like a little sack. It's pretty nice. It says season 1. Not sure what that means, but maybe it's going to be just like Fortnite where they come out with seasons every so often. Wow, okay. So this is the Thursday Aviator. So let's put this box away and kind of take a closer look. So wow, this looks great. So I'll just do a kind of a 360 here so you can see what this shoe looks like. Now, these are also a 360-degree Goodyear welt. So on really high-end boots, like Wolverines, for example, or Red Wings, you won't always see a 360-degree welt, even on a pair of those boots. And those boots are known for being really durable, boots, heavy-duty boots almost. And they don't even have a 360-degree welt. Sometimes they'll have I don't know if you call it a 270-degree or exactly what you call it, but it'll kind of stop right about here, and then the back will be open, or it won't go all the way to the front in some cases. So with the 360-degree welt, you still have a shoe that should be relatively waterproof. To me, I don't see any downside in having a 360-degree welt. And again, I'm a noob when it comes to this stuff, but that makes me feel like they went the extra mile and they did what they needed to do to make the shoe as long lasting as they can. As far as the look of it, I mean, that's a pretty sharp looking shoe. Again, these were also $190 American, and I got 50% off these shoes. So I just made the purchase on their website, and then I sent them my my order number, and then they refunded me $95. So I'm really happy with how these look initially. Now you'll notice they have the same heel block, or at least the same sole on the bottom of the shoe that you'd find on the Captains. These are a little bit worn down, but same heel block that way. And you can see there's actually nails that go through there. And then you can see the stitching here. So it's a leather outsole. And what I really like is the fact that they have these rubber cleats almost for traction. If you've ever walked in or worn a leather outsoled shoe that's totally leather, you are slipping and sliding, especially in the climate that I live in. If you're walking on even wet pavement, it can be enough for you to slip, especially wood or any other slick surfaces. So these are really going to come in handy. As much as I like nice looking shoes, they need to be practical. If I'm not comfortable or if I'm slipping all over the place, I don't want to have a broken back and have nice shoes. I want to have both. So yeah, for me, this was just kind of a no-brainer. I mean, I had a great experience with those boots. I wear dress shoes, and now that we're getting into the spring, I don't want to wear boots as dress shoes. I need to wear a nice pair of shoes with a suit. So this would be the first pair of dress shoes that I've ever owned with this wingtip style. From what I understand, it's just layered leather, and they cut out a design actually in the leather. So very classy. They call this color mahogany. It's kind of a lighter brown than what I expected. I almost, in the photos, thought it was going to be closer to this color, and you can see they're pretty big difference. Now, once I apply oils and stuff to this leather, I suspect that it will darken slightly. I don't want it to, though. I think this actually looks perfect. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to give you guys a review on these after I have a few months in them. And I appreciate you listening to one of my first videos. Again, the Thursday boot, Captain Thursday boots, I'm really happy with them. I think that if you're looking to step up your footwear game, you already have nice sneakers, you already have some nice dress shoes, these are very versatile. Anything from, I haven't worn them in shorts, but jeans, chinos, dress clothes, I mean, you name it, I've worn these, and I've only ever gotten compliments. I've never had one person look at these while I had a suit on and said, "What are you wearing on your feet?" They've always either not said anything at all, which is ultimately what I'm after, or I've gotten a compliment, "Nice boots, man," or "Nice shoes." Some people don't even know that they're boots, because if the pant leg is down to here, they just look like, they actually kind of look like a dress shoe. So anyway, I'll leave that alone. And these are the Aviators. So that's a nice good look at them. See what they look like in person. I'll take the other one out here quick. They're a little smushed from the packaging, but yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing these and trying them out. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Who you were, what did you do? I didn't care, 'cause you were perfect, I swear. But somebody told me that it's over.